Good afternoon from northern Wisconsin. It's May 10th, and thought I'd get you caught up on what we've been doing. To begin with, we've been turkey hunting. My wife and I drew turkey tags, and my daughter couldn't hunt because she's too busy with work, but I took Geraldine out to our property and got in a ground blind the first morning of our season, and along about 8 o'clock called in just a great gobbler with 3 hens, and he eventually came into the decoys. He came in to challenge the Jake decoy that we had out along with a hen decoy, and he saw or heard something he didn't like and gave that all too familiar put, and he was gone. Well, as he's running away, I told Geraldine to shoot if she had a good shot at him. She shot and missed, and that was the end of that. She was pretty disheartened, as you can imagine, her very first chance at a turkey. Well, 3 days later, we're back out in the same ground blind, and we're going to get in, and there's a turkey hammering on the roost just a couple hundred yards away. We got in the ground blind, and I waited until it was light enough and started working him. 16 minutes later, he's standing on the edge of the food plot across a small pond. He's so jacked up to get to our Jake and hen decoy that he flies over the pond into the food plot, comes charging in, and gets just to the Jake decoy, and he's going to put a whooping on this Jake decoy, and Geraldine put a whooping on him, and it was pretty cool. She was pretty jacked up, and I love it. It was she got pretty emotional in a good way, and it's we've all been there. So that was her part of the season. Now I had 3 days left in my season, and I hunted in a different area west of our hometown where I also had permission to bow hunt deer, and did a little deer scouting along the way while I'm doing my spring turkey hunting, which I almost always do. I incorporate my spring turkey hunting with my spring deer scouting, so works out good. And I actually found an old homestead that had some giant rubs around it. And in case you didn't know, these old deserted homesteads that have been deserted for quite a long time and have grown up, around the area is this thick, gnarly brush. Whitetail bucks love hanging out in those spots. And big whitetail bucks, I've seen it just about everywhere I've hunted, will take up residence in those spots if there's enough cover. I don't think this big deer was living there, but the buck sign was tremendous, and we know there's a good buck living in and around that area somewhere. But the second old homestead I checked out was just the opposite. A little more cover, and if I found one antler rub, I found 50 from last fall. And this deer, and I think it's just one deer, because I don't think that patch of cover is, a buck that size is going to tolerate another buck living there, especially as it gets closer to the rut. That was over 2 dozen antler rubs we just looked at right there in that old homestead. Kind of down below the old buildings in a place where the buck that was doing that, or bucks, no way they could ever be seen from any road. And I see there's some more up here. Pretty incredible how these big whitetail bucks, these mature bucks, relate to these old homesteads. Just incredible. There just happens to be some good trees there to put a tree stand in. Got it all scoped out. I'm going to do a little more walking around, but like I said, 50 rubs, some of them as big as my leg, as my thigh, and some of them down to foreleg size, and then wrist size, and some smaller rubs from years ago. So it's just one of those spots that big deer like. I mean, old rubs from years and years ago. So, and it never gets pestered. I know it doesn't. There's not a sign of, and in fact, I know who owns the property. I know they never go in there. They don't bow hunt, and they don't go in there during gun season. So we'll be checking that out come this next hunting season, you can bet. And that's about it. That's what we've been doing, along with a little bit of fishing. I'll be doing another blog here in about a week, so make sure you check that out, and maybe I'll even have a fishing report for you. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again.
Looks like the one you shot at the other morning. Awesome. Good job, young lady.
This is awesome.
Tell them how long we were in the blind.
What, 15 minutes?
15 minutes, maybe.
15?
Yeah.
20?
Called him off the roost, and he came on a string.
I didn't whiff. Yay, me.